What's up guys, MainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. A few months ago I uploaded a season 3 tier list, and since then, as you probably know, we've had characters released, and we've had, I don't know how many balance patches just changing things left and right. Well, we had almost homing hell sweeps there for a while, so a lot has happened in season 3, and I thought I could do an update at least to my top 5, just for fun. And I was kind of inspired by what I consider to be the best player in the world, Pakistan's Arslan Ash. He wrote on Twitter, most frequently asked question these days, what's your top 5 in Tekken? First is Akuma. I made a video on this yesterday. Second, third, and fourth, in no order, are Akuma, Zafina, and Steve. Fifth, confused between Lee, Kazumi, Shaheen, Julia, and Paul. So this is of course his opinion, as he says here. This is just my personal thinking. You have all the right to disagree. So it's really cool to get his thoughts on this. From what I hear, he's going to be posting videos on his YouTube, so do check that out, where he will hopefully explain all of this. Again, disclaimer, I'm gonna do my top 5 now. It is highly subjective making a tier list. I'm actually not going to agree with Arslan Ash, but you know what? He's, in my opinion, the best player in the world, and I'm just a content creator, Tekken enthusiast. It's a hobby, so take it however you will. Take it with 5,000 pounds of salt. It's just my opinion. But we can start from what Arslan thought, and again, Akuma at number 1. Again, I made a video on this. Like, he has arguably the best movement in the game, tied with Zafina. It's incredible, especially for his size. His sidestep is glorious. It's like he has a female hitbox like Alyssa and Lily, which is interesting considering, yeah, he has a pretty tiny waist, but his shoulders are, well, battle tank, pretty much. Wide as a barn. So yeah, I don't know why his hitbox works that way, and also his tiny waist makes it so that a lot of launchers don't get optimal combos on him, so certain strings will whiff. All kinds of weird stuff is going on with Akuma. And of course his range is insane. So when you couple strongest movement in the game with arguably greatest range in the game, you have space control like no other character, I feel. And his punishment is excellent. Arslan loves a fundamental playstyle. You can certainly have that with Akuma. Very powerful turtle into whiff punish. Has some very solid frames on certain moves, but I feel like he's a little bit sluggish. He has a lot of minus frames on many of his tools. He is quite steppable on a lot of moves. I just don't see him as top 1. Arslan does, he's the best player in the world, but little content creator, main man, just for fun, I'm going to disagree. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate some stuff in the game, and then in real time, as Hollywood special effects, I'm going to alter the list here. So I'm going to make my top 5. So I'm going to put Akuma here, and then I'm going to add some characters, as you can see in the bottom there, candidates for top 5 I feel should be added. Where I'm going to put Geese, Jin, Devil Jin, Leroy, and Law. And some other characters I'm going to talk a little bit about are Draganov and Cassia, just because it's interesting. But I would actually straight away put Geese Howard in top 1. And now you're thinking, why the hell would you do that? Why not put Akuma there? Well, I'm going to have Akuma right beneath him. I just think that Geese is, pound for pound, the best character right now in the game. Akuma lost his forward 4-4 counter hit launcher, which is a huge deal. That is a great move. Long range, mid, neutral on block, forces crouch on block, gave a huge launch on counter hit. +2 on normal hit. Now it does nothing on counter hit other than giving you slightly more damage. So this greatly hurt Akuma's non-meter potential, which is huge considering it's very important as a 2D character being strong without meter as well. So now Geese really is much stronger than Akuma without meter and in the neutral, as he still has very decent, you know, counter hit launching tools in standing 4, down for 2. And since the launch of Season 3, sidestep 3, you know, that's a counter hit launcher. I just dropped it. You know, this move is really good. I mean, it is from a sidestep, but it is pretty fast, it has pretty decent range, +6 on normal hit. And it's only -12. And again, counter hit launcher, no meter. Jab still very good, down for 1 with extensions, it's very good. Geese has range problems, but he has a very nice neutral. And then couple this with Geese, in my opinion, just broken Moonslicer. This is easy to do compared to Akuma. I feel it's a little bit too strong, in my opinion. Geese damage output with meter is too good. Dropped it, but whatever, you get the gist. Like, I feel like Geese now is the strongest character. His utility is just fantastic. Range problems for sure. Needs a meter to do the crazy stuff, but as soon as you have meter, it's like, just wait for that. Or his parry. Best parry in the game. So yeah, I just also want to stress with poor Akuma here that he's still the second best character in the game just because of his, you probably guessed it, insane... As long as he has this... Sorry. I don't play Akuma. Oh wait. Okay. What? I can do the hard part? Yeah, I'm not an Akuma player, as you can probably see. Thing is, yes, as long as he has an unseeable, you know, 1 billion damage launcher from down 3 and can mix that up with while standing 2, which in itself can, you know, go into mix-ups, he will remain an absurdly strong character. And of course his 12 frame launcher in down 2. This, oh god, that's still a natural combo. I usually play Akuma with a mix box. I'm trying to do it with my arcade stick, it's just not working. As long as he has that, he will remain an amazing character. And all of his wall tech, with tech catches, demon flip shit, yeah, he will remain absurd. So to me, Geese and Akuma, I would say arguably are still the best characters in. Well, Leroy has been nerfed a lot, so I would usually put him at the top. I don't see him as top anymore, or at least there. Top 5. Zafina, Arslan loves movement-based characters, fundamental characters, very strong movement. I think that's why he thinks so highly of Fakumram and Zafina. But in my opinion, Zafina is too she's too unsafe most of the time. She has to take too big risks. So again, amazing movement. If you know what you're doing, she's incredible. Her down for 2 is very strong, really good whiff punish. She has some decent poking, she has great mix-ups, decent damage if you know what you're doing. It's good, great wall damage, but I just see her as too risky to be this high. So in my humble opinion, I would actually not put Zafina in the top 5. Steve is a god, arguably the best tournament character in the game. If you know what you're doing, super hard to play, very technical. I'm not even gonna demonstrate anything with Steve, but yeah, best counter tools in the game, can be played extremely safe, is a hard counter to a lot, to pretty much a majority of a cast. If you play against Steve and you don't have high crushing, let's say you're playing Fakumram, yeah, GG, or Cassia, GG. Brian, Steve is godlike, so he definitely stays there. And then I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna put Paul here. Well, not too crazy. Paul is... maybe we can show some Paul. But if you watch my Season 3 tier list, I explained Paul pretty well, I feel. But yeah, his damage. Have you heard about Paul Phoenix damage? It's second to none, I would say, among the normal Tekken characters. So, okay, I'm not even gonna do optimize damage, I'm just gonna do this. That's 107. Would be nice to at least get the Just Frame Demo Man. Damage difference is by 3. Yes, 110. So again, that's not even the biggest juggle. And that is from a counter hit or circle back 4. But the thing is, it's not too hard to land this counter hit. Absurd range, homing, +1 on block, one of the best keep out tools. His down for 2 is broken in my opinion, the way it evades highs or just destroys jabs. His core circle forward 1 is so good these days, so strong. Down 1, decent poking, jabs. His lows, core circle forward 3, insane low. So much range, good damage. If you know what you're doing, you can actually turn this into a launcher quite easily. A lot of people don't know, but you'll see Knee do that a lot. So that's very strong. If he's in rage, best rage options in the game in my opinion, with his rage drive combined with his unique rage art cancel, that does too much damage. It's too good in my opinion. And then you combine this with decent evasive tools, and some of the best punishment in the game. 12 frame, absurd range, back 1-2, +8, down 1 +2 is great. 14 frame launcher in back 3. Not too much range, but still very, very strong. Yeah, I think that's best damage. Yeah, the wall damage is absurd. He has a perfect throw game. He has all the throws he needs. 2-1, 1 +2 breaks, respectively. And while standing punishment, he's no slouch there either. And some decent strings, some cool cancels that can do some good things if you're a very smart player. Paul is super strong, but mainly it's his array of fantastic safe launchers and his absurd damage and best comeback potential in the game. I feel Paul is pretty damn perfect. He's a little crap in the not crap, but he could be better in terms of pokes. But still, he has everything he needs to be a massive threat. So yeah, Paul is a god. Oh, sorry. So yeah, that's why I put Paul there. And then Arslan, Lee is a character a lot of pro players are speaking more highly of these days, especially Rangchu, you know, who won the Tekken World Tour 2018, godlike Akuma Panda player. He also speaks highly of Lee, but in my humble opinion, he does not belong in a top 5. He's way too technical to play. There's a way... In a top 5, you want characters to be difficult, of course, but you want them to get something amazing out of that difficulty. And Lee is just not as strong as he is difficult, in my opinion. Akuma is super hard to play, very technical. but he's on that fine line of, you know, if you master this, you're overpowered. You know, if you master Lee's super technical stuff, you're far from overpowered. There are many characters who will easily match your wall travel, your damage, etc., your counter hit launchers with no execution. But he has some great stuff like a 10 frame, 45 plus damage, counter hit string. He has the best 10 frame punish in the game, acid rain, 1-3-3 blazing kick. But all of that's so hard to do. But absolutely, we should speak higher of Lee than we've been doing. But I would actually remove Lee, in my opinion. Kazumi is a great character. I think you can argue top 5. Shaheen definitely is super strong. Julia is a goddamn monster. She's a monster. I could easily see her be there. But I'm going to just remove these characters. And I'm actually going to put Devil Jin here. Because I like Mishimas. And I actually believe I'm not putting him there just because I fucking love the Mishimas. It's just I think the buffs he has received lately actually make him super, super, super strong. So again, the Hell Sweep doesn't track anymore, but the best buff they got in that, you know, the Mishima patch was the buff to the electric. That hasn't been reverted. So we still have like the classic Tekken 5 electric that recovers very quickly and which tracks to both sides. The electric is easily the best move in the game right now. By far, it is unbelievably strong. And when you put that strong of an electric on this guy, Devil Jin, who already was a very, very complete package in terms of what he can do, you have something very strong indeed. The Hell Sweep, even without the tracking, still super strong. And again, just couple with the fact that he has his new wall ender. Oh, I didn't get the big damage. Oh god, I didn't get it again. You need to get a high wall splat. It just does enormous damage. Devil Jin's damage output is insane. I just want to do one big boy staple combo. There we go. No counter hit, 104 damage. It's very easy to do from just a normal wall splat. Tekken Pro, everyone. So it's very easy to do from a normal wall splat like that. It's honestly not too hard to do from here as well. There we go. But yeah, that's still 68 damage. You don't have to do that specific combo. Okay, well, whatever. I'm gonna stop demonstrating combos. It never works, you know, YouTube curse. Devil Jin is insanely hard to play, as are all the Mishimas. I feel like Brian is more difficult, but other than him, it's basically Mishimas, Steve, Akuma. So it's very unrealistic to see someone play Mishimas to their highest potential. But if someone can do that with Devil Jin, like let's say Kudans or some other god like Mishima, I feel that with this buffed electric and with the back to 1, Devil Jin has all he needs to be absolutely top 5. Those buffs help him so much. So yeah, that would actually be my top 5. Yeah, and cool runner-ups are, in my opinion, Jin. I think Law is insanely strong, but again, he's too hard to play at the highest level. Like you need godlike execution. But if you have godlike execution, Law is easily one of the strongest characters. Shaheen is super strong. Jin is super strong. Julia is a fucking monster, make no mistake. I think she's the best female character. Zafina is also really strong. Kazumi is super strong. Fakumram is super strong, but no, I don't know, I just don't feel like he's like all of those other characters. But yeah, I'm probably about to be proven wrong, considering Arslan is saying he's the best in the game. Many other pro players are saying the same thing, but I don't know, when I look at him, like, I feel his flaws are too great. But we'll see, I might have to eat my own words very soon. I don't know if there's anyone else I would like to demonstrate here. We can talk a little bit about Leroy, I guess. No, wait, Cassia. I promised you guys I was going to talk a bit about Cassia. Some people put Cassia very high in tier lists. Some people actually say he's stronger than Devil Jin. As like, yeah, I just don't agree. And again, he's very strong now. Electric buff, great. He still has the down back 4 that hits grounded, making his Vortex even more dumb, his Oki. That's great. And the Vortex is great, you know, the Hell Sweep, forward free. You have a lot of other options like while standing free, sidestep free, forward 4. But the problem with Cassia is that he lacks versatility. You know, where Devil Jin can do a down back 2 just to get a high crush, which is very important. Very important. Cassia always keeps his back straight. He has this vacuum round problem where you need like a 20 frame wind up on his good moves, and he just keeps his back straight. Again, Hell Sweep, no crushing. Forward free, no crushing. That's why Pick Steve, back 1, all those fast highs just destroy Cassia. So that's a big problem with Cassia. Even though you have great punishment, I would say Devil Jin's punishment is tied with Kazuya's. Certainly Cassia has a 13 frame while standing launcher, but the range is bad. You have to take into consideration the range of the punishment. It's not only what it does at 13 frames. Oh, it launches. Devil Jin's twin pistons have much better range, while standing 1-4 does good damage. His jab has bad range. Cassia has a really bad jab. Devil Jin's jab is much stronger. Devil Jin's back 1-2 is much stronger. Cassia for a 15 frame launch has to electric. Devil Jin can press down 3-4 to get his counts. Cassia's poking is terrible. Terrible. And Cassia's execution is insane. Insane. You need perfect electrics on both sides to do well. You need absurd movement, because his movement is not as good as Zafina's and Lily, Alisa, Kazumi, Vakumram. So you have to compensate by having a crazy backdash as instinct for sidesteps. Wave has to be perfect, because Wave while standing 4 is arguably your best poke. He has great damage output, his launchers are great, but the flaws I mentioned are way too big. And not having a good 13 frame poke, but that's his identity. If you give him a 13 frame, a solid 13 frame downward 1, it's not Cassia anymore. So he's way too flawed. Way too flawed compared to Devil Jin. Devil Jin is just the stronger character. I just realized I have to talk about Draganov as well, which is a character also. People are kind of surprised that he's not being placed higher in tier lists. He was pretty busted on release season 3 due to sneak. You know, being able to do combo, several sneak. You remember how fast he could cancel this. His combos were absurd. While running 2 was buffed. It's +6 on block, used to be +5. But the problem with this was that, not mentioned in the patch notes, was that they removed the tracking of the move. So it's very easy to sidestep now. And that's a huge problem. So basically the unstoppable force that was Draganov while running 2, down 2, was heavily nerfed. Now down 2 retains, of course, its pretty much homing properties, but while running 2 being so steppable, I don't care if it's +6. It was much better having it at +5 with tracking. Easily! So that's just such a huge nerf that, yeah, big trouble for Draganov. Because that's his, you know, well, that's the move where he instigates his offense. You know, he runs in, he hugs you like a band-aid, goes in, then he just goes crazy with his pokes. So yeah, just a huge nerf, but still a very strong character, but not top 5 material with that nerf. But he still remains very complete, with good punishments, great launchers, some of the best throws in the game in my opinion. Yeah, just all around, just very strong, I would say. And let's talk a little bit about Leroy, I guess. Leroy is still super strong, in my opinion, but the nerf to Downford 1, I don't know if with all of the nerfs so far, if you could place him in the top 5. Maybe you could, but yeah, the Downford 1 nerfs really hurt him. The Downford 1 had to be nerfed, it was way too strong. I guess I can demonstrate an interesting fact of his Downford 1. It will actually hit Xiaoyu when she's in her very, very low Art of Phoenix. And it makes sense considering you can actually dash jab with Downford 1. It just hits very low. You see that it hits her even when she ducks in her Art of Phoenix. And when she ducks in her Art of Phoenix, like she's absurdly low. So that's why, you know, it couldn't remain -1 on block. But it still hits far, as you can see, very far, and very low. But the follow-up here was nerfed as well, right? Yeah, -9. It used to be -6, I think. And -3 on block, as it should be, considering it has follow-ups. But I think maybe you could argue he's still top 5, to be honest. He's just... Down 3-2 is so insane. The stuff he has from Hermit is so insane. Orbital is still super fast, evades a lot. Back 4 is a great homing move. His Hell Sweep is still fucking homing. Down 2, even with all the nerfs, remains a good tool. I mean, it is -15, but you can always add the second hit. Down 1 +2 is decent. There's still no execution whatsoever. Parry is still very strong. The 1 parry here is really good. Pimp King remains strong. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe not top 5, but I think he's still fucking solid. So yeah, I don't know if I want to get into more detail. So again, Arslan is the best player in the world. I'm just your humble little content creator here. But I think that's an interesting top 5. I think Geese is the strongest, followed by Akuma, Steve, Paul, Devil Jin. The one I'm the most worried about here on this list is most likely Paul. I mean, it's Paul and Devil Jin, because these guys here, Law, Shaheen, Jin, more so Julia maybe, Zafina. You can argue all of these are godlike, to be honest. You can argue all of those are godlike. But so, yes, this has been half an hour. I'm not gonna bore you any longer, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and these are just my subjective thoughts. And yeah, my humble little opinion. I hope I'll see you on the next video. Take care.